Okay, hello. This is exit ticket day 13. I'm just going to go over it pretty quick. This first one's a perfect square. You put in your calculator. The answer is a whole number. All right. Square root of 144. You should know what that is. It's one of these answers. All right. All right, number 2 is the square root of 75. Again, we're looking for a perfect factor. Oh, just a minute. Let me get this camera fixed. I'm sorry. We're looking for a factor of 75. That's a perfect square. All right, well, 25 times 3 is 75. So again, the square root of 25 is 5. So go ahead and, this is not the final answer. The square root of 3 you leave alone. All right. Number 3, same thing, the square root of 27. Find a factor of 27 that's a perfect square. And we find one, 9. 9 is 3 times 3. That's a perfect square. 3 times 9 is 27. All right. So 3 times the square root of 3. There it is, right there. All right, guys, this is number 4. Again, square root of 80. There we go. Again, that's 36 times 5. 36 is a perfect square. The square root of 36 is 6. Okay? There, the answer's right there. All right, number 5. All right, there's a 3 in front there, so just leave it in front. All right, again, look at the 98. That's inside the house or underneath the radical sign. And sometimes I say in the house. All right, we're looking for a perfect square that's a factor of 98. And I find it here, it's 49. All right, that's 7 times 7 is 49. So the square root of 49 is 7. So then you go 7 times 3. That'll be the coefficient in front. That's outside the house. This will all end up outside the house. And then inside the house is the 2. The 2 is it's not a perfect square. Just leave it in there. All right, number 6 is a negative sign. The 7 stays in front. 20 is commonly used. All right, so be aware of that. 4 times 5 is 20, of course. And 4 is a perfect square. Square root of 4 is 2. So go 2 times 7. That's the coefficient in front of the square root of 5. All right, number 7. Again, leave the negative 7 in front. Square root of 200. Guys, that's 100 times 2. And the square root of 100 is 10. Again, 100 is a perfect square. That's what you do here. You look underneath the radical sign. You try to find a factor of that number that's a perfect square. Because then you can take it outside the house, outside the square root sign, just by taking the square root of a perfect square. Again, the square root of 100 is 10. 10 times negative 7, okay, will be in front. All right, number 8. That's 256 is a perfect square already. All right, you'll end up, there's no house in this one. It's over. Just a minute, it's trying to get. All right. So negative 7 stays here, but guys, 256 is 16 times 16. So the square root of that is just 16. Again, when there's 2 of them inside the house, 2 of them underneath the radical. When you take it outside the house, outside the radical sign, there's just 1. 2 in the house becomes 1 outside the house. All right, negative 7 times 16. That's your answer. It's a whole number. All right, number 9. Now we have some variables. Just separate them. 216 has a perfect square as a factor, 36. 36 times 6 is 216. And guys, x squared, that's a perfect square. The square root of x squared, as it says right here, is just x. All right, because again, x squared means x times x. There's two of them inside, then you can take one of them outside. All right, that number is 6. That number is x, and they're both going to be in front now. All right, number 10. Again, 216, x to the 4th. It's a very similar problem. Set up the same way. And again, x to the 4th, that's a perfect square. All right? X to the 4th is just x squared times x squared. The square root of that is x squared. The square root of x to the 4th is x squared. Okay? And the square root of 36 is 6. All right? All that's left here inside the house is the 6. Because these two are perfect squares, so now they're outside of the radical sign right there. All right, number 11. And there's a 6 outside, so leave it out. Inside there's a 32. 32 is 16 times 2. 16 is a perfect square. All right? X to the 4th is also a perfect square. And x to the 4th equals x squared. You should be able to do this, guys. This becomes 4, so it's 4 times 6. And this x to the 4th becomes x squared. It's x squared outside. All that's left inside the radical sign is the 2. All right, this is number 12. 8 is in front, leave it out front. That's the coefficient. 96 is 16 times 6. All right, 16 is a perfect square. Guys, this x has to stay inside. All right, whenever there's an odd number exponent, 1x will be left inside. All right, so 6x is going to be inside. It's right there. Okay. 2, let's see, this is 4 times 8. Yep, 32. Yep. Okay. Number 13. Guys, this whole thing is a perfect square. Square root of 16 is 4. Right? The square root of x to the 4th is x squared. And the square root of y squared is y. So the house disappears. There's no house. Okay, that one right there is no house. All right? Last one. As negative 8 stays in front. You break this down now. So 32 is 16 times 2. And the square root of 16 is 4. All right, x squared and y squared can both come out because the square root of x squared is x. The square root of y squared is y. So the only thing left inside the house is the 2. So the square root of 2. So it's got to be this one then, right here. It's the only one with the square root of 2. Yep. Guys, that's it. Hope that helped.